Good morning. It's July 5th. It's a Monday, so that means some version of walking along the creek. It's very pleasant, 18 or 19 degrees, and it's going to be a little cooler now. Our brief bout of heat has broken. They had said it would rain last night, but it didn't. But now they said it'll rain tonight and more rain in the middle of the week, so we'll see about that. A little different morning. We're having breakfast with my brother and his wife who are visiting. After I get back from the walk, we'll be going somewhere for that. And then it's back to, all the stuff I do, editing, have some nonfiction work to do, keep working on The Tangled Stars, my next book for dog. Got to get that revision done the next few weeks, by the end of the month at the latest. And editing Stories for Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, my kickstarted anthology featuring second-year guests of my Aurora award-winning podcast, The World Shapers, which you can find at theworldshapers.com. And in fact, there was a new episode this very weekend of Jess E. Owen is the author. She's an award-winning author of young adult fantasy, well, fantasy for all ages, but young adult in particular. She likes griffins. Stories about griffins. And she has a contemporary, not fantasy, just a contemporary YA book coming out next year. Anyway, very interesting chat. She lives in Montana, so relatively close, although Montana is a very wide state. She lives in the western part of it, and we're above the eastern part of it. I'm thinking as I'll walk a little further along the creek, but I'll shorten this end of it, and I'll walk up the other side of the loop end today. Keeping an eye on the time, though. I'll continue working on this, replacing the portico there. Porch, oops. All familiar streets here now. If you've been walking with me, I walked this way many, many times. We just go straight down here, and there's stairs up onto the dike. That's what I'm headed for. My most interesting walk over the weekend was definitely Saturday when I went out to Arcola East. So I started in Douglas Park, where I'd walked to before, and then I crossed the footbridge over the ring road and got myself trapped in the weeds, literally, alongside the ring road. Had to walk through the weeds until I could get to the exit ramp, which finally got me up into Arcola, where I was finally able to get into the residential area I was trying to get into. So if you'd like to see me walking through the weeds, that's your chance. That tree, it's been trimmed because of the power lines, but it does look like it might just come down someday, doesn't it? And spruce there next to it has had its top either come off or been chopped off. Always dogs. I mean, I guess the trunk is quite strong looking down here, so maybe not. But at first glance, that's what you'd think. Morning. Where we're headed on the dike here. We're in our last week of health restrictions from the government here in Saskatchewan. I can't wait. I will dump that mask. I will not wear one unless required to by some business, but I will not be happy about that if they do. Okay, here's the creek. The dike along the creek anyway. Here's the creek. Hi. Every Monday I walk along the creek in some fashion. Now on Fridays I walk around the lake. This is video 124, I think, something like that, of consecutive days of walking with the camera. Morning. So far nobody has said hi. If you're there on YouTube or Facebook, say hi. I can actually see the screen today, so this would be a good day to have conversations with people walking with me. First cloudy day. I've been out now for several days. Somewhat cloudy, partly cloudy. That's the Elphinstone Street Bridge. Looks like a tree's come down over there for some reason. Wonder why. We're always sorry to see trees come down in Saskatchewan, or at least in Regina, because every single one was planted by somebody at some point. A few have grown up on their own, but generally speaking, like some of the brush down here would be natural along the creek. The big trees in general have been planted by somebody. 500,000 of them last time I just saw this week, actually, on some city site. The number in my head from when I worked at the city for a few months as a communications type person was 250,000, but apparently it's 500,000. At least now, anyway. Okay, today we're going to take the, oh hi Miriam. We'll take the unofficial path here, right alongside the creek. There's a culvert there, that's why that concrete is there. Oop, gotta watch my feet. The Neobalquell Art Center over there, and that's a piece of public art that matches one you can see over there. There's sort of the cutout over there, and then the part that was cut out stands over here. Don't know what it's called, and I don't know who made it. walked along here too often down here. It's nice and close to the water. But it's quite rough. I keep stumbling because I'm looking up or looking at the screen instead of watching where I'm going. Oh, still some, that's a mock orange there. We have some in our backyard. They're one of the later plants to bloom. That was looking a little wilted, probably from the heat. The algae on the other side of the lake there, water. The heat brings that out too. Makes it bloom. Some of the plants have labels on them. If you come over here, this one tells you what it is. Saskatoon berry. A gift from the citizens of Regina to the citizens of Regina from the citizens of Saskatoon. Commemoration of Regina's 100th anniversary. Saskatoon bushes. Saskatoon berries are used a lot in pies and things in Saskatchewan. I think they're a form of gorseberry, if I remember right. Could be wrong. You can see the algae there in the water. Here's the footbridge. I'll probably go over it on the way back. Today I took a different route. So normally I would walk along the path, but today I'm going to walk on the dirt path right next to the water. Mower over there. If you're, well, I'm hearing the sound. You probably aren't. But on the grass. Otherwise, it would look like this, or something similar. As I said, I like the lighter leafed trees. I like the contrast with the darker green that they make. Here comes somebody with a dog. There's always somebody with a dog, any path you take. You can see them there. This guy mowing the grass. Morning. Taking shortcuts, it's only 15 minutes to here, which means I can go further down the path on the other side, which is my plan. Need to be back around the top of the hour. currently 20 after 8 in the morning here. This is where we rejoin the path proper by the baseball field here. So next bridge is the Pasco Street Bridge. Bicyclist. Cyclist and bicyclist, bicyclist. Path seems a lot shorter when you're riding a bike, as I recall from back when I did that. Somewhere here is where I saw a pelican one day. It seemed injured. I wonder what happened to him. If he was injured, he's probably dead, or else. I did try to contact a rescue organization, but I don't know if they came after him or not. Okay, so if I was just doing a normal walk, I'd go up there, but since I cut it short, we'll keep going. Under the bridge, Pasco Street Bridge. The water is always very close down here, so it doesn't take much in the way of extra rain to flood this underpass a little bit. Now, there's the side of the bridge. Sometimes I've walked over there, but I'm going to keep going today. Just as far as the Italian Club, which is across Louvain over there. Probably where I'll start back. Last week I walked on that side of the creek. Friday building's over there. The airport is just over that way. It's kind of, FedEx is over there, and there's a curling rink, various things. Well, actually, I think that's the curling rink over there. Walking barefoot. I wouldn't do that. So the next bridge here, this is the Louvain higher speed north-south route through the city. Fewer lights, especially down at this end. So there's 2 lanes, or 4 lanes. Back to the river, or the creek. Yeah, probably I'll go about as far as the Italian club, and then I'll be coming back across with those lights up there to head back. There's a par 3 golf course on the other side. Those little trees are sticking up. Never played that one. Slowly catching her, not very fast. So sticking up over there, that's the curling club. As you can see, lots of cyclists. Another cyclist. Bend in the river. Yeah, I'll get off the, that means blackbirds? Blackbird, anyway, I think they both were. I'll get off the path once I've gone around the bend. So that's the, I think it's the Sandish Murder. She was a local curler and went to the Olympics. I think that's what they call the curling rink now. Lots of rushes on the other side. Some of those bicyclists who don't give you any warning. A bell would have been good. go this way. I haven't done this way before. Let's see where it takes me, at least to the top of the dike, and see if it makes sense to go down the other side. Oh, sure. I'll walk right over to the blue van over there, but then there's nowhere to go, so we'll go down here. Cautiously. Just cutting it a little shorter than if I'd gone another block to the Italian club. The sidewalk's closed up here. So we'll cut through the playground maybe, or go around it. We'll cut through the grass. Hopefully the mosquitoes are not in wait. Hi, Kirk. In Vancouver. Neighborhood play structure. So this is 13th, which I've walked along many times on the other side, only rarely on this side, but it doesn't go much further before you run out of town. Oh, well, that was unexpected. Even when you're on foot, construction can surprise you. This side is completely blocked off. Well, that's not surprising since there's a big pile of dirt in the middle of the road. Definitely won't be jaywalking here. Cars move too fast along here. On the blue van. I have come that way. There's a path under the bridge down there which I discovered on a previous walk, which is good to know. I could go that way just to make things different on a longer walk. And perhaps I shall. Or will. I always figure I look like a cop with a radar gun when I'm standing here like this. So down that way would take you to Mosaic Stadium parking, and the exhibition grounds, the hockey arena, all that stuff. I've walked down there before, and will again. So just get back to the park, and then it'll be back along the regular path to get home. Along the creek. And then edit, edit, edit. Once we've had breakfast with my brother, edit, edit, edit. Head the editor. Should do at least 2 more short stories today, plus a chunk of The Tangled Stars. That's kind of what I need to do, but I do have some nonfiction writing, which will take an hour or 2 as well. So. Anyway, words. There's a song from My Fair Lady. Words, 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 I'm so sick of words. I get words all day through, first from him, then from you. Is that all you blighters can do? And I think that's the theme song of writers and editors. Words, 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 I'm so sick of words. Not really. I mean, I love words. I wouldn't be a writer, but there are times when I'm sick of them, especially editing, because then you're usually working with other people's words, which are never as interesting as your own. That's not even true. There are some books that are more interesting to me than my own, but I'm not sure how I would have felt about them if I had to edit them. Reading them is one thing, editing is a different process. Now that song is stuck in my head. Don't talk of stars burning above. If you're in love, show me. That's the song. It just starts with words, words, words. I'm so sick of words. I've never been in My Fair Lady, but I played the piano for a high school production, which was scary because I'm not that good a piano player. Said the scariest I've ever felt is, let's take the alley. I think the most scared I've ever felt before a production was that one, when I sat down to play the overture. My hands were shaking. But I got through it. The show was a success. The trick is, even when you make the wrong notes, to keep going. Most people don't register them if you're not very good accompanist. That was my trick anyway. So no matter what happened, I kept the song going, and that's what performers really appreciate that. If the accompanist breaks down, the performer is really lost. Hardly play piano. We have one, but it's been a long time since I played it. I keep needing to get it tuned. That's been a problem because you couldn't get anybody to come in and tune it. Get it tuned and start playing. Once I have the house to myself. My daughter was doing school, so I couldn't play, or my wife's been working at home sometimes. I couldn't play, and the cat hates it too, but he doesn't really get a vote. He doesn't like it when we sing either, and he really hated it when Alice used to practice trombone. Cat I had as a kid hated harmonicas. I had a harmonica, and meowing, he would meow and complain and come get on my chest and bat at the thing, trying to get me to stop making that horrible noise. And given my level of expertise, he probably had a point. I haven't tried Shadow Paw with a harmonica. I should, just to see what he does. As I mentioned before, speaking of performing, that's Sask Express, which is a young people's performing school and company. They tour the province most summers. And maybe they'll be doing some this summer, I don't know, since restrictions are lifting. That'd be nice for them. And for all the performing arts people. The dog. Long and straight here. last fall when I was jogging instead of walking. I hated this. It's a little bit of a hill, and it's about 3 kilometers into the jog, and it was very noticeable that you were running uphill, slight though it is. But once you got to the other side, it was nice, and then it's mostly downhill all the way back towards the creek. I gave up jogging for walking because my knees didn't like jogging. I would jog and then I couldn't really do anything for a few days because my knee would start hurting. So that didn't seem productive. And then I hit on the live stream walking after watching the guy in Manhattan I'd mentioned, Walking Commuter. Haven't looked back since mid-March. At some point I'll miss a day, but it hasn't happened yet, or a week or whatever. The creek over there where we walked along on the way out. Now we're on the homeward journey. And just in the interest of cutting it a bit shorter so I get back in plenty of time, I will cut off this loop of the pathway. Go straight through the trees there. There may be mosquitoes under the trees if nowhere else, but so far they haven't bothered me today. If we do get more rain, like they're promising, probably get a fresh bout of mosquitoes too. Yeah, a few mosquitoes started coming after me as I walked that last bit under the tree. Not surprising. Probably cut off another loop over here. Won't be the first. There's a trodden down path running straight through there, but I'm going to cut it even more than that and go this way. I think this is where they were watering, so now I'm getting my feet wet. I didn't count on that. One of those things you don't think of until it's too late. You say, why is this grass squeaking? And then, oh right, and by that point. Yeah, the mosquitoes are finding me out here too. Oh well. Should have stayed on the path, but I didn't. It's like the hobbits going through Mirkwood. Don't leave the road. Or the Oz characters, stay on the road. Don't leave the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Follow the gray asphalt road. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it. It has a yellow stripe. Follow the yellow stripe road. That would work. Follow the yellow stripe road. Okie dokie. Back along the path to home. traditional view on both sides of the footbridge, looking east. Looking west. Actually got the directions right. I usually get them confused in my head and I don't know why. I've done that many times. Even in Shards of Excalibur, at one point my character, who's learned how to fly through the clouds, use the clouds to transport herself magically from place to place. This is a good thing because my kids have to get all over the world and they can't really afford to fly. First time she tries it, a long distance, she goes to Winnipeg, which of course is east of here. And in my first draft, I had her going west of Winnipeg, which there's no excuse for that. Fortunately, I caught it, but I don't know where that comes from. I think he slowed down because he thought I was a radar gun. No, guess he was turning. Back to the Elphinstone Bridge that we came the other side of when I came out this way. They do keep the grass well mowed, so it looks neat, but that's good. I had my fill of walking through the weeds on Saturday, especially this time of the year when the nettles come out. Those are no fun to walk through with shorts. Plus I flicked at least one, only one, I flicked a tick off my leg after I'd been out there in the weeds. I've never had one attach itself, and I'd rather not have that experience. Never mind, they can carry disease. I just don't want a bloodsucker attached to my leg. Funny that way. Now, do I go down this side or do I go back the other way to cut it a little shorter to make sure I'm back in plenty of time? I think we'll take this pathway here. Kiwanis Park. There's the horseshoe pitch. Again, I've only ever seen anybody playing horseshoes on it. On a walk not that long ago. I definitely won't go down in the path right down by the water today. The mosquitoes are too thick. There could be ticks down there too, in that grass. Really, it's the mosquitoes I would imagine are not pleasant in there. There is a path. The other side of this row of bushes, closer to the water, makes you feel like you're out in the woods somewhere. Now the song running through my head, not surprisingly, is "We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz." The wonderful wizard, the wizard, if ever a wizard there was. If ever a wizard there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. That's a very sotto voce version of my actual singing voice, which can be operatic if I choose it to be. But walking along singing, "Oh soul," this doesn't. Andatore della mia sorte, queste scuse, signorina. People look at you funny. Haven't done a lot of opera, but I have sung opera. More musical theater. More choir music than anything, but on the solo side, more musical theater. And I enjoy it more. For one thing, it's a lot easier to memorize a song in English than in Italian if you're not Italian. Well, certainly warm enough now I'm in the sun again, despite being somewhat cooler. It's not cool in the sun. I'm also wearing a dark gray shirt. I've been wearing a white shirt most of these hot day walks. And it does make a difference, the amount of infrared that it absorbs. Kiwanis Waterfall Park, home of Regina Kiwanis National Little League. This side of the sign's pretty good. The other one is completely worn away. I don't know why they don't fix this side. The dog. Another mower over there. Down there. Hope he's wearing bug spray. Won't go down by the waterfall today. The creek's right there, just the other side of those trees. And there's the footbridge I cross so often, looking scenic from this direction. The trees and the water around it. Chirp, 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 chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Chirp, chirp. Thank you. Bird impressions, something else I do, just not well. Pigeons I'm not bad at. There we go. bridge we're headed to. Jogger coming up behind me. Passing the two dogs. It's actually part of the Trans-Canada Trail, that path, which is a trail you can walk, theoretically, right across the country. Okay, one more traditional middle of the bridge shot to the east, to the west. I don't think I'll walk along the dike because I'll probably have signal trouble. So we'll just go down onto the streets and home. Just 3 or 4 more blocks. Been watching this house get built over the weeks I've been watching. Looking much more complete all the time outside. Pretty big one, takes 2 lots. Twice as many taxes. Knowing what our taxes are, they'll probably be paying $5,000 or $6,000 in taxes. Maybe 7 annually. 5 for sure, I would think. This is 19th. Oh, he's building a garage, or working on a garage. Oh, they're actually working on the entire house. Back of the house and new garage, it looks like. There's Italic up here, and we're almost home. 2 more blocks, 3 more blocks to the north. The house I always call the Bavarian house. I like it. On the corner, it has these big trees in front of it, and then it's got this kind of secluded turret entrance that I like. Never been in it though. Quite old. It's interesting shingles too. That's the garage. You can also tell an old house, the garages are tiny compared to modern garages. You could have a hard time putting a big SUV in some of those old garages. Ours happens to be big, and it's a two-car garage, and I don't know why. I don't know when it was built. I don't think it was probably built originally when the house was built in 1926, but I don't know when it was added. Leopold Crescent. That's the house I mentioned before. It was used in a movie many years ago starring Linda Carter from Wonder Woman fame, the TV series. They turned the whole neighborhood into an American neighborhood. They filmed in that house and around here. I wasn't living on Angus Crescent. I was living on Garnet Street a few blocks to the west, but it was quite close to me, and it was a nuisance because they kept stopping traffic when you're trying to get places. Gotta be quiet. There's our stop sign up there. That will be the end. Did I go over an hour? Nope, just under. That's about what I figured. So I'm usually pretty good at estimating. Even when I think I've walked extra long, sometimes it turns out to only be slightly over an hour. All right, here we stop. Thanks for walking with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.